Rainton.
Once upon a time, on a hot summer day, the sun shone brightly as burdock. Leaves floated down the stream. Mama Duck sat wearily in her nest, tired from brooding her eggs. Crack! Crack! Before long, one after another, eggshells broke open, and several yellow heads peeked out from beneath Mama Duck's feathers. However, the largest egg still hadn't cracked. Days passed, and finally, one day, the big egg also cracked open. A strange-looking, big black duckling wobbled to her feet. Everyone teased her for being ugly, calling her the ugly duckling. Mama Duck hugged her tenderly and said, "Poor child, don't be afraid." One day, under the clear and beautiful sky, Mama Duck led her ducklings to the stream. She jumped into the water, and the little ducklings followed suit. They dipped into the water, resurfaced, paddled their legs gracefully, and even the one considered ugly joined them, and Mama Duck smiled with satisfaction. Later, they arrived in the yard where the piglets were fighting over carrots and the chicks were squabbling over a pile of grains. Then a duck with a red ribbon around her leg approached. Mama Duck said, "She is the noblest among us ducks. Let's show her what we can do. Come on, spread your toes, stretch your neck and sing a song for her." The duck looked at the little ducklings and said, "Oh, so adorable." Then she noticed the ugly duckling at the end. "Oh dear, is this ugly duckling not your child?" Mama Duck hastily explained, "No, she is my child." Other ducks started gossiping. "Is she also a duck? How annoying, do we look that ugly?" Due to her peculiar appearance, the ugly duckling also felt inferior. Amidst the commotion, a group of chicks arrived. They surrounded the ugly duckling, pecking at her head, hoping to drive her away. Terrified, the ugly duckling ran off. Everyone laughed as they watched her awkwardly charge forward, feeling amused by her clumsy retreat. The duck siblings were not to be outdone, continuing to mock and ridicule. They made fun of the ugly duckling's appearance, teasing her for her black feathers and peculiar looks. Mama Duck hid the ugly duckling under her wings, shouting, "Please stop, is there something wrong with this child?" However, the ugly duckling continued to face chasing and teasing, determined to bear her child's daily torment. Mama Duck, with a heavy heart, said in tears, "Child, find a place for a peaceful life. I will miss you." Feeling lonely and lost that night, the ugly duckling passed through the bamboo fence, hoping to find a vast meadow where no one would bully her. She walked and walked until she reached a swamp, the home of wild geese. Exhausted, she curled up next to the wild goose flock and fell asleep. The next day, the wild geese discovered her, welcoming her to join their ranks, and the ugly duckling was overjoyed. Bang! Whack bang! Just then gunshots rang through the air, and the wild geese, flapping their wings, flew away. The ugly duckling hid in a pile of grass, scared, with her head tucked under her wings. The hunting dog picked up the shot goose, glanced at the ugly duckling and left. The ugly duckling breathed a sigh of relief but couldn't help feeling sad. I must be too ugly even for the hunting dog to bother with. As night fell, the surroundings quieted down. The poor ugly duckling hastily ran out of the swamp. She ran all the way to a humble farmhouse. In the house lived an old woman accompanied by a cat and a mother hen. The ugly duckling pleaded, "Can I stay here, please?" The mother hen and cat looked disdainful. "Imp, can she lay eggs? Can she arch her back?" And me, the old woman, wanting duck eggs, reluctantly took her in. However, as time passed, the ugly duckling didn't lay a single egg. The old woman became displeased. "Oh, keeping you, a useless little thing." Feeling sad, the ugly duckling huddled in a corner, remembering the times when she freely swam in the pond. Eventually, unable to bear it any longer, she ran out. In the blink of an eye, the leaves in the forest turned from green to yellow. The wind swept them up, carrying them through the air. The owl stood on a withered tree branch, shivering, calling out, "Hoo, hoo, autumn is here, hoo, leaves have fallen, hoo, flying in the cold air, hoo, finding no shelter from the wind and rain." The ugly duckling through forests, not knowing where to go, just yearning to find a place truly her own. As she walked, she suddenly heard beautiful singing, gentle and melodious. She followed the sound and discovered a group of graceful swans dancing on the lake. Their song as enchanting as heavenly music. The ugly duckling stopped in her tracks, amazed by the sight before her. She quietly watched them, feelings of longing and envy welling up inside. She thought how wonderful it would be if I could become a beautiful swan too. As lost in her imagination, the lake's surface suddenly reflected her image. She was astonished to find that her reflection was no longer that of a black duckling, but an elegant and charming white swan. She couldn't believe her eyes. Cautiously, she approached the water, and her reflection moved with her. She was certain that she had truly become a beautiful swan. She finally understood. She had been a swan from the beginning, mistaken for an ugly duckling. The ugly duckling joined the ranks of the white swans, feeling immense joy and happiness. She became good friends with the other swans, freely swimming on the lake, enjoying a beautiful life. Yet, on her journey to happiness, the ugly duckling encountered more mockery and scorn. Her duck siblings not only didn't stop mocking but intensified their cruelty. Whenever she gracefully glided on the lake, the duck siblings surrounded her, splashing water and mocking her past. They attacked her with sharp words, causing deep wounds to her soul. This adversity made the ugly duckling stronger. She endured the mockery of her duck siblings, maintaining her dignity amidst the laughter, responding with elegant dance moves. And so, the story ends. The tale of the ugly duckling teaches us that appearance doesn't represent everything. Each person has their unique value, and by finding our true place, we can discover happiness